So for our YouTube Mastermind, the way that we structure our time together, these are Thursdays at 12 p.m. Central, come heck or high water. We've been pretty consistent here since we started back again for the past, I would say, 3 months now. So pretty proud of that. But also when it comes to the way that we structure our masterminds is I do have a topic today is going to be about staying consistent without burning out. I'm going to give you some actual practical things that will work. It's nothing that you have to guess at or just it's not me saying, "Hey, you can do it," because there's way more utility than that in our masterminds. So there is a topic, but really what I want is just for this to be a little bit more engaging and more helpful to you where you might happen to be. So essentially want to meet you where you're at. So the first part of our call is reserved more for questions, so Q&A. Whether if I have the answer, awesome, I'll share just the insights that we have here, and I'll share a little bit more about my background shortly. But here is the power is in the community. So there's plenty of folks that have a ton of content, ton of experience in YouTube that might be able to help each other out. So for us here at Creator Agents, which is we help real estate agents get on YouTube and actually see success on there. So we have a good amount of channels that we have personally started, also a good amount of channels that we personally manage. So we have a lot of data, a lot of things that are working, a lot of things that are not working. So we just take this opportunity to share what is and what isn't to the benefit of everybody, regardless if you happen to be on Creator Agents or not. So with that being said, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, anything that they're struggling with that we could talk about that we can break into?
Hey, Jaime. So I'm struggling with getting my weekly videos out in a timely manner as far as, I'm using Creator and I get them and I feel like I'm always a day or two behind. So I guess my question is it more important to schedule and post at the same time every week or to get like, let's say if my published date was Wednesday, if I have a video that's done today or tomorrow and I missed Wednesday, should I push it out or should I just skip the whole week? Obviously, I don't want it to be a habit, but I keep hitting this and I feel like first we published on Tuesday and then the next week we published on Wednesday. And now today I'm looking at my edits and I don't know if it'll be done today, but if I get them done, should I publish or should I just, yeah.
I'd wait for your next published date. That way you can get ahead. If it's missed for whatever reason, I would wait for the next one. So that way you can be ahead and that way it'll give you time. It'll give whoever your creative team is on that, it'll give them time to get ahead in that. So um that would be my suggestion. So showing up as consistently on the days that you originally set out, that would be my suggestion.
Okay, thanks.
I may have a question. I am, I've gotten a green screen video completed and it's kind of like an introduction. It's a Q&A, kind of like who I am as an agent and so forth. And my curiosity is around what would be a good length for that video to be once it's edited down?
What was the topic again?
It's really just an introduction to me, Sam Mobley, realtor, like why I got into real estate, who I kind of wanted to go back. And I know that it's not going to get me, well, anyway, I wanted to do it. And so I did it. And
Sure.
now I'm not sure how short it should be or how, does that make sense?
It makes sense. Without seeing it out, I can't really give you the best answer, but if I was just sharing a little bit more about myself, if I'm going to elaborate, then I would make it more of an 8-minute video, sharing a comprehensive. But for most intros that you could use for even in your follow-up game, you're looking at about 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay. That's what I kind of thought. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
I have one.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of your recent posts about just making recommendations, I think you had posted kind of like mix it up because I always post in office green screen, not green screen, I'm sorry, but in office talking head. And so that's what I'm comfortable with. But I see that other people will do like they're just talking while they're someplace, like outside, outdoors, maybe not walking. And I haven't tried that yet. I guess maybe just at my office is my security blanket. So I was wondering, like, should I mix it up so that there's a different background so that the people are seeing something different? Does it even matter at all?
It'll matter in the sense that it'll provide a different yes, it'll answer. The
Okay.
answer I can go into a long thing, but yes, it will matter. Personally, I'm not willing to trade that off myself. There's been maybe 2 videos where I've left the home studio, but if you're willing and able and want to be out there, by all means, I can tell you that it will be most likely it is going to perform better. I can't tell you that it's not because I have way too much evidence from our creators that are out there in being on the streets, in the communities and talking. There's just too much evidence with the reach that they have and the success that they have for for it to for me to say no, it doesn't matter. So creators that we work with that come to mind is like Mark Branson in Dallas. We have Zach Schmidt. Who else is out there on the streets? Well, those are medias that came to mind because they're having just a ton of success already. Let's see, Mr. Ohio himself out of Dayton. So he does some on the street. So yeah, if you're willing to, it will I do champion it. I just personally don't. I myself, just full disclosure, I'm not willing to do that trade-off in going out there physically myself because I'm more of a volume shooter.
And yeah, I wouldn't be doing really anything different. The talking head just would be a different background because I find that right now I'm having to be in the car so much and having to work with the relocation buyers. Um, that if I can find 5 or 10 minutes that I'm sitting at a Starbucks, uh, and it wouldn't be like, hey, let's check out, let me show you the homes. It would be just a talking head, just in a different background. And why does it perform well? I mean, like, what is I don't understand.
I think it's mostly a lot of it is the B-roll that we're able to capture. So you have I mean as you mentioned you're in the car, like I think about Eric. He's got his, what is it, Car Confessions? Is that your series, Eric?
Yeah, carpool confessions.
Carpool Confessions, and he just optimizes his time. And it's very much dynamic, provides a topic that he knows about, and it's just very consumer friendly. So that helps out quite a bit. Now, as far as why does it perform better? I think it has to do more with the local B-roll that just naturally it brings into the mix. Now, I think about like Zach as an example. He'll go out there whenever he features a community. There's a complete strategy that we do with him with new construction, but he'll also take his drone to get the local B-roll of the community. So that's why we start a lot of his videos. And Eric does that as well. The drones to get that different aesthetic, that visual that is pretty dynamic and is increases the watch retention significantly.
Eric, when you're doing your video in the car, what mic are you using? Because I tried to do the DJI Mini and it still picked up too much of the background noise. So I ended up not being able to use any video I did in the car.
Uh, do you have it set for the noise cancellation?
I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing. I
Yeah,
will.
you have to turn on the noise cancellation.
I will look that up and I will make sure I do that next time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
but I'm using the well, I have the mini. It's actually sitting right here. But I'm using the DJI Mic 2. Here's the mini. Here's the Mic 2.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
And I've got the other one as well. So I guess I
yeah.
just need to make sure I
So
turn on the noise canceling.
Yeah, so you make sure it's noise. If you have the mic 2, hold on, let me turn it on here. So if it's green, it's noise canceling. If it's blue, it's not in noise canceling mode.
Okay, and it was blue, so you're right, it was not. All right, I gotta put a note to myself, so I remember that. Green. Green noise cancel. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Eric, it's Dallas Relocation. I think that's the channel of his name. The name of his channel.
Thank you.
At Dallas Relocation or just named Dallas Relocation?
Just Dallas Relocation. It'll be pretty evident. Let's see here. All right, so let's dig in. As you have questions, please feel free to let's have a conversation about them. All right, so let's talk about
19,000 subscribers.
yeah.
So Dallas Relocation Guide.
Yes.
Okay.
All righty. So let's talk about staying consistent without burning out. So that's one of the things that I think in part it touches on previous question that we just talked about, but I'll give you some high notes that are going to be helpful for us, and then we're going to get pretty tactical. One of the reasons that we essentially quit, myself included, there's been plenty of abandoned channels in my wake has been burnt out either on the type of content that I've been recording or more of the change of strategy, or just to be completely blunt with you, just lack of results. I remember last year in 2024, I started more of a real estate agent news channel where it was more dedicated to covering what's going on in the news for real estate agents. And at that time, the big hitter type content out there was more about the buyer commissions and all that fun stuff, what was happening, who was getting sued, who was not getting sued, who was settling, who wasn't settling. So I was on the pulse. I was doing daily videos about that. And at the end of the day, I just kind of abandoned that. So again, I just illustrate that this happens to everybody, or it can happen to everybody. The burnout, which again, for you, it might look different, where it's we're finding too much friction to get started. We change strategies. We might miss an upload, and then it's easy for us, the same way that we maybe miss a workout, it's much easier for us to miss the following workout. And ultimately it spirals into just we blink, and then 3 months later, nobody is 3 months later, and we haven't gone to the gym in those 3 months. So one of the things that I want to work on, at least today, what would be a good way for us to build motivation? So this is going to be more of a question for you. Don't wait for motivation. Start fast, build early wins, and ride the momentum. So what I mean by that is look for an early win right now. If you find yourself either, I've been meaning to get on YouTube, I've been meaning to record this video, I've been meaning to do X, Y, and Z, what would a quick win look like for you? Would it be writing a script? Would it be selecting a topic? Would it be scheduling on your calendar when you're going to sit down to actually work on the video? What is it that would mean a quick win for you? Right? So build momentum. Building momentum quickly is one of the best ways you can get out of that funk, just trying to get right back into it. Another thing that I want to suggest to you, and some of these are in order, some of them are not, but I try to keep these as in order as possible to give something tactical. One of the best ways that you can avoid burnout is by staying on top of things, and one of the best ways to stay on top of your video recording is by batch recording. So batch record like a pro. So here you're recording multiple videos in one sitting to eliminate the weekly scramble. So batch recording essentially means, as opposed to thinking up of one video idea and then going through scripting, going and recording, going and editing, going and uploading, think of multiple ideas, break it down into a workflow that we'll discuss on the next point that many of you actually are using right now. Work on multiple videos at once, break them down into different segments, break your workflow down into different aspects that will allow you to, at the end of your workflow, have 5 finished videos as opposed to 1. right? So very much the same way that a lot of the big YouTubers do right now, and basically every everything that you see on TV, you have studios working on multiple videos at once. They're not working on their Batman from beginning to end and then working on another one. They're working multiple simultaneously, working on different videos to where they have their releases timed out accordingly. Some, in many of the cases, they record them and focus a lot of time on testing them with the audiences to see if they need to do some reshoots, working on the marketing strategy and how much they need to spend, or, just essentially there's a lot of things that they do that we could model. But here at the end of the day, the concept of batching is going to ultimately um, make your channel, in my opinion, better, but also help you stay ahead and avoid that last minute scramble of getting a video out. Now, if you're looking for the workflow that we use here, again, if you're part of Creator Agents, you see this daily. But even if you're not, you have access to this hub that you can model the exact same workflow that we use. I use this particular workflow flow, which I coined BOSRED. So that acronym BOSRED, BOSRED, brainstorm, optimize, script, record, edit, and distribute. If you break it down into these 6 main categories or 6 main stations, if you think of them as workstations, you're going to be able to stay ahead. So a few years ago, whenever I was launching my marketing channel, what I was doing daily YouTube videos, and there's many cases where I was actually 3 weeks ahead on a daily schedule. And that was only achieved because I was following this workflow that I adopted very, very early on, where, why did I put record? Huh. So brainstorm, optimize, script, record, edit, and distribute. So in this workflow, we're talking about brainstorming several video topics at once. Once we've done some brainstorming, we'll go to optimizing. So optimizing, we'll take all the videos that we just thought about at once, take them over to the optimize stage. And that's where we answer for 4 main things, which is your traffic, meaning is there demand? We'll solve for our thumbnail. What does our thumbnail need to look like? Our title, what do I need to title my video? And what do my first 30 seconds need to look like? I used to have 3 T's, but the intro is just so important that I couldn't ignore it any longer. So that's why I throw in that 4th T in that particular regard. So traffic, thumbnail, title, 30 seconds. At the optimized stage, if you cannot complete all 4 T's, if you can't come up with a adequate title that clearly conveys what it is that you're trying to record on, don't make that video. It's going to save you a lot of time. If there's not enough traffic, meaning if there's not enough demand for the particular topic that you're talking about, then don't make that video. You're going to be wasting your time. So that's something that is super vital, that in the optimize phase, once you take your videos in here, that the bad ideas go to die here. Because if you take it onto scripting, recording, editing, and distribute, you're investing a lot more time, energy, and resources into something that probably should not have been created in the first place. Now, let's go through this example. Let's say you had 5 videos that you thought were a great idea. When you took them to the optimized phase and you couldn't answer for the 4 T's, again, it's the traffic, the thumbnail, the title, and 30 seconds. If you couldn't answer for all 4 of those, then you're going to leave some by the wayside. This is where again, bad ideas go to die. So let's assume those 5 videos, of those 5 videos, 2 of them just didn't make it, or you thought, well, it's better if I combine them into the other videos that I've already thought about. So there, let's just say you go with 3, make it past the optimized stage. Then it's those 3 that you script. So this is again in phases. This is, well, we have a workflow. Why don't I just show that? So it's one of our YouTube channels. So this is our local production channel. So at any point we have a ton of ideas that we're working through. We have a ton of ideas that we're probably needing to optimize, a ton of ideas to script on, and then hitting the record button. So these are ready to go. Most of them are live streams, so they're already scheduled on the channel. So it's pretty easy for me if I'm feeling inspired, or if I just with our live stream schedule, it's a little bit different than our normal publishing schedule. At any point, I can go into our YouTube channel, pick up a page or pick up a profile, a video, and hit go live, and I'm off to the races. But I've already have everything ready to go because the team behind us will set everything up for me. So anyway, that's at the record stage. I'm sorry, the scripting stage. Again, going through the example, let's just say we had 3 videos that we need to script. At that point, you could use your best friend ChatGPT or have your own script written. But the key here is to write your scripts in batches. So finish those 3 scripts before you move all of them over to the record. So these are ready to go as this example. Here, we still need to script these videos. We just have concept. They've gone through the brainstorm phase. They've gone through the optimize stage. Now we just need to go through the scripting and then finally hit the record. Same thing here. So once we get to record day, and I'll talk about how you break this down even further to where it's more actionable. Once we get to the record date, we have 3 videos to record. That's our record session. So those are the 3 scenes that we need to do if we are thinking about like a Hollywood movie. Then we move them over to edit. So at the editing stage, this is where if you have a team that does that, then they're of course the ones that are responsible for editing. But if you're editing yourself, then here again, in one sitting, try to edit as much as possible. It'll allow you to edit quicker. It'll allow you to edit smoother. But at the end of the day, it's the important thing here is that you're doing this in batches. So you're editing as much as you can in I keep saying in one sitting, but I'll share with you, it's probably not going to be one sitting. What's important here is that you record the 3 videos before you go on and distribute them. So distribute in our acronym means uploading it to YouTube or uploading it to whatever platform you are playing in. Does this make sense? Important concept, batching, super important. How we break this down even further is the workflow in our boss red sequence, which is again, this hub is, most of you already have this. If not, let me know in the comments and I'll get you the template that we give out. So you have it. But here again, the important thing is batching, then using the workflow. Now, if you're looking for how do I structure that into my day, which as a reminder, what we're talking about is avoiding that burnout and staying consistent. This is a very practical way, very tactical way for you to actually avoid falling behind and staying ahead. It allows you to stay ahead so you don't feel like you're scrambling to get a video out every single week. Now, your content, essentially you're looking at 3, let's call them days. You could do this in segments. You can do this by time blocks, but we're just going to go by days because most agents typically will find it easier to adopt this into their schedule. So you're going to have a prep day, a day that you dedicate. It could be an hour, it could be 2 hours, it could be 3 hours, however long it needs to be for you. You could have, you could dedicate a prep day. Typically we give them Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday sequence. So let's call this Monday. It's going to be your prep day where you brainstorm video ideas. Again, you're batching everything that you're doing. So you're brainstorming various ideas. Then you're optimizing them in that same day. For you to brainstorm ideas, it's as simple as using ChatGPT. It's as simple as using Google. It's very, very simple. So you can come up with 100 different ideas in 12 seconds. It's very, very easy. What you're going to spend a good amount of time, or you should be spending an amount of time, is in the optimize phase. So again, traffic, thumbnail, title, and 30 seconds. In the optimize phase, what you're looking for is to condense those ideas into something workable. So when the optimizing happens, you're still in your prep day, so preparation day, you're optimizing for the videos that you actually want to bring into the world. In that same sitting, again, I say sitting very loosely here, but in the same sitting, you're going to script as many videos as you can coming out of the optimize phase. So here, if you have 3 videos that get out of your optimized phase that you deem worthy for actual creation, then this is where you get into the scripting world and start scripting out what you're going to say. So you thought about different ideas, you've optimized the videos that you want to work with or you feel that you're going to take into the world, and then you script them so you have something workable that you can record on. Any questions on this so far? Alrighty, so let's call this Monday.
I do have
And
a question. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I know everyone's going to be different, but do you suggest like, is there like a standard or is there like a goal that we should try to hit? Like, brainstorming should take X amount of minutes or X amount of hours. Like one recording should take X amount of time. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Typically, I quote, it's a really good question. It's typically I quote 2 hours per video, not for brainstorming only, but like if you aggregate all of it, if you're going to be recording one video, your commitment that you give yourself is 2 hours per video. So if you want to do 3 videos in a week, then your commitment to your YouTube channel would be 6 hours per week. So 2 hours per video, which is going to be split up in between all of these. So brainstorm is going to take you very a small amount of time. You're looking at about 15 minutes. Optimizing, if we're going to be doing, let's just say if we try to get 3 videos out through this flow in the optimize phase, it'll probably take you about 30 to 45 minutes to optimize. Scripting with the help of some content writing, it's going to be super easy. It's super easy for you to either use some script, the ChatGPT. When we've talked about different ways to do that in this mastermind, how you could quickly get a working prototype, either through research of other channels that already have that same type of video out there. We could quickly scrape them, get a working prototype and what that means is essentially getting some ideas of what you could talk about and then make it your own. So I guess the best answer that I have for that would be 2 hours per video. That would be intermixed throughout here. Now, if you do the on location recording, which is what Tammy was referencing earlier, it's gonna take longer because of the commute, because of all that fun stuff. But on average, 2 hours is gonna be about right. So in recording day, you are either sitting in your office and doing the talking head model, or if you're going to be going on location, then there's ways for you to, like as an example with Zach. So every time he visits a community, we make it a goal to get 3 videos out of it. One to introduce the community, one to introduce the floor plans, and then one to introduce the area. So essentially, if we're talking about I don't know, let's say Forney, because he's out there quite a bit. So let's say Forney. So we really highlight the Forney aspect. So new construction in Forney that you can't miss. That's a video. And then when we get down to the community, then we're talking about Lavon. So not Lavon, I'm sorry, Forney. What's a good community out there? Let's call it, I'm struggling for examples. Devonshire. Devonshire is a new construction community out there. So we make the Devonshire video. And then depending on how many builders he visits that day, it could be one builder where we get the model home, or we hit up all 6 builders that happen to be in Devonshire. So that visit that he ended up doing was the city, was the community, and then the 6 builders that all have a model that he records on. So it's not uncommon for whenever, like as an example, Zach will put into his queue for editing. It's not uncommon for him to drop 8 videos at once because of that strategy that we've deployed since we started on his channel about 3 years ago. So recording can go extremely quickly. It just depends on the type of content that you're recording. And then post-day production. So it's another day, again, another sitting. You're going to edit and distribute. So edit as much as you can and then distribute that into the world. So editing does take a little bit of time, as you probably can guess. But once you have somebody do it or you've gotten pretty efficient at it, editing can go pretty pretty fast if you have the safe templates in place, like you know what your intro is going to look like and you already have all the b-roll saved for that. If you know your cadence, you know where you messed up. There's a lot of AI that can be used to cut out the stuff that was a mistake, if you will, to make it a lot easier for you to edit and much faster. And then distribute essentially means uploading to YouTube. So these are 3 different days that you're dedicating to your YouTube channel. If you spend one day preparing, another day recording, another day in post-production, you're going to be a lot more successful in getting your videos out in bulk. Can you talk a little bit about your program that you have? It's my first time here and would love to learn more. So if you go to thecreatoragent.com, that's where you have information of what the creator agent is. This mastermind is really more for everybody that's on YouTube that wants to, make more videos. So I don't really promote the creator agents that much here. But thank you for the question, though. Really appreciate that. So, any questions on this, on your content process? So scheduling out. Tammy, I think you follow something similar. What is, because I know when you're firing on all cylinders, how do you get 30 videos into the queue?
Yes, when I'm doing that, which I don't feel like that right now. I do exactly what you say, is that I will go to ChatGPT and I will just ask it, what would be good questions that it's seeing out there, using SEO that are coming up. Then I'll also look at other agents that I'm watching around the country and put their scripts, things that I think are interesting, and then I'll put their scripts into ChatGPT and then find out what they think would make a good video. From there, I do what you said, and I've got all the topics. And sometimes when they're sitting out there like yours, I will go back a month later and I'm like, that's a terrible topic. I don't even know what I was thinking. And then I will trash that one and then build out on the other ones. I try to have 4 scripts, at least 4 scripts ready to go, because by the time I set up the camera and everything, I am on a mission to get those 4 done, because right now I don't have anything done, and the anxiety that I have by not having anything done is like gonna eat me alive this weekend. So
I love it. I love it. Anybody else want to share about their process? Eric, I know you're pretty efficient with getting videos out. How do you go about your workflow?
Oh, I don't have a workflow, bro.
You just go, you find inspiration.
In war, there is no workflow.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Robert?
I have a pro tip if anybody in the group does home tour videos of new construction homes. Does anybody else here do that?
Yeah, we have quite a few here right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I learned here just recently, and it's making a huge difference. So now I live in the Houston area, so we have all the suburbs surrounding it. What I do now is I find a builder that builds in a lot of different suburbs and builds the same floor plans in all the different areas. And I'll strategize where I'll go shoot a home tour of that particular plan. Now, what I'll do is, and this is where I messed up before, is I would stand in front. Let's just say, for example, the Kingston plan by D.R. Horton. So they build it in about 14, 15 different subdivisions around Houston. What I would do is I would go stand in front the home, get ready to shoot it, and say, yeah, I'm out here in such and such neighborhood, and go and talk all about the deal. Well, that's good for one video, right? And then I have to go and do it again, because the information, subdivision, all that changes, when I want to do that same home again in another subdivision. So what I do now is I stand in front and all I do verbally is introduce the plan. This is the such and such plan by D.R. Horton. And then I'll say, this is an incredible deal. Everything you want to know about this home is in this box. And I'll just point up, and that's where I'm going to edit a box that shows all the details about the home and the deal. And then right after that, I'll say, and everything you want to know about this incredible community is right here. And that's where I added in another box with all the community details. So if it's a master plan community, all that's there. If it's not, then just a few things that it has is there. And I'll do all my community price deal specific information on the thumbnail, title, and description, but the video itself only introduces the that I'm in front of the home only introduces the builder and the plan. So now through editing, I can take that same video and reuse it over and over and over again. Like, for example, I can do the same video and a subdivision in Magnolia this month. Next month, I can do the same video, edit for a subdivision in Conroe the following month. Everywhere they build that plan, I can repurpose that same video, and that saves a huge amount of time.
Dang, Robert.
What's open?
That
So,
is incredible.
good question, a couple
There's a
questions.
small little problem with that. I don't know about your market with DR Horton. In different sides of town, they will have the same, let's say you call that Kingston plan. Like 6 months ago, they will have it over in Henderson, and they're doing 1.5 inch backsplashes. And then in Summerlin, 6 months later, they're building with 2.5 inch backsplashes for the same plan.
Yeah, so that's where I just put where when I'm talking about the video, I say this is how it is now, but it could change, the features, what's included could change at any given moment because our videos are evergreen, right? So I'm always specific about that because it could change the next day, it could change next week, could change across town. But I always just kind of throw that in there. Hey, any of this can change at any time, but this is what's going on right now, and so I can still repurpose that same video over and over, even for years. Yeah.
It's incredible.
So
Odessa?
you use the same raw video and just try to edit it? Like,
Correct. I'll
little-
take that same part where I point where the box where like this is the details. So for example, 2 months ago, the Kingston and one particular neighborhood, they were offering a 4.99 builder interest rate, zero closing cost, and it was in a neighborhood that only had a couple of playgrounds. But I didn't say that any of that verbally. I just put that information in a little box where I point up at, so I could edit that into the video. And then a couple of months later, so that same home for only 20,000 more, they're offering now a 3.99 interest rate, and it's in a master plan community. And then I put all of that information, and I always highlight the deal and the title too, right? So I'll say, like, when I did the first one months ago at the other community, and the title was 4.99 fixed interest rate, 4-bedroom home in Magnolia, right? The newer one says 3.99 fixed interest rate, zero closing costs in a master plan community in Fulshire, right? And so I just, the changes between the different neighborhoods and the different times and all that is all highlighted, and then I'll put stuff on the thumbnail like best deal in Fulshire, right? Over the top of a picture of the home and me standing in front of it and that kind of stuff. So between the thumbnail, title, and description, that's where all the differentiation is contained. But the raw video itself stays the same over and over again for the same home.
And even the edited video, so the thumbnail has empty boxes, but the actual walkthrough video, it's the same one. It just has a different cover image. Okay.
Correct, because they still build the same home. The floor plan and the layout of it is still the same wherever they build it. So the finishes might change a little bit, but not a whole lot, but may change a little bit. And it's not just D.R. Horton, but I do that with anywhere a model home, a model home is set up with a builder now. And I just started doing this recently, but I see it saving me just a ton of time. So when I decide now, so when I plan ahead, which model home am I going to go video? Before I take my time to go over there and video it, I want to make sure that same model home with that whatever builder that is being built in multiple places across the city, so that I'll be able to repurpose that again and again.
Dang, nice.
Yeah,
I
so
did not
like
know
that
one. That's
Kingston,
perfect.
for example, I can put it out like once a month, every month, just by tweaking a few edits, the title, description and all that, and put it out once a month, every month for a year off of just shooting that one video.
No, thank you for sharing that. Robert, what are you seeing on your leads coming in?
So it's picking up big time. You know, I had that procedure. I was out for a little bit over the course of from last summer to the end through the end of the year. But so I really just didn't start getting back into, you know, I had a lot of downtime, started shooting video, putting videos out again, probably in February. And I got just from this is from YouTube alone, have 6 buyer clients right now.
Nice.
Good
Very
for
nice.
you. Good for you. That's awesome.
And they're all moving here from other places.
Hey, that's a big part of it. That's a big part of it. Bob, some folks will use iPhone, but most folks will connect a lapel mic, either a wireless one, kind of like here. I just have this kind of like a little resting spot to charge it. Or they'll use the wireless like that, or they'll use a lapel that's connected to their iPhone. The closer that you could get your microphone to you, the better audio you're going to have. So there's the lapel ones are like $20 or so. Now these are going to be a little bit more expensive, but they're worth the expense. All right, let's continue unless anyone has additional questions on that. That was great. Thanks for sharing, Robert.
Robert, can I tell you something? Jeez Louise. On your videos for your descriptions, you need to put your hyperlink properly for your videos to your new home page there. You just have the www without the https :// you won't be able to just click on it.
Nice. I like the community helping each other out. All right, so let's keep it moving. Create a production checklist. I just looked at the time. We gotta go. So creating a production checklist. Follow the same repeatable steps each time to stay efficient and reduce stress. So when we're looking at the production checklist, the same if you know that you're going to be making a video, let's say on location, that's the same way that you would benefit from having a checklist every time you leave the house of like turn up or turn down the HVAC. Make sure that X, Y, and Z is unplugged. Make sure that I turn on the X, Y, and Z. Make sure that blah, blah, blah. So many of you have that. Same way that you have that, whenever you are getting ready to go on location, especially so you don't find yourself with dead batteries or didn't get your spare in or forgot to bring your cards with you, like the extra memory cards with you, which happens to me a lot. Having a production checklist is going to help you execute so much faster, avoid the whole stress. And that's something that I myself here, this is my ideal version of me checking and using my checklist. But, you know, do as I say, I guess. Getting a production checklist is going to help you out a ton. Before you go live, as an example, make sure that the microphone is on. That is going to be very, very helpful. A video template. We've talked about video templates in the past. So the structure of your video matters, not just with the audience retention, but also just a way for you to edit quicker, a way for your audience to identify you with your catchphrases, a way for you to execute on a video a lot quicker so you don't spend 30 minutes trying to reintroduce yourself in each single one of those videos because you are coming up with something different every single time. So again, the structure to your video is going to help you out a ton. It allows, if you're doing ChatGPT, it allows ChatGPT to learn more about how you want your videos. It'll help you record a lot quicker. It'll help you just be more consistent and show up for your audience in the same way. So they're not guessing at which version of Haim is going to show up this time. Outsourcing and delegating. This one is one that we as agents and entrepreneurs, we don't do as much. Outsource your everything. Outsource everything that you can and financially able to do so. If you are working with a professional, also keep that going. If you are looking for ways to maybe take some things off your plate, but retain others because of budget or because of whatever other reason. There are tools out, there's services out there. There's Fiverr is one of the most common ones. Really lean in on AI right now. It's one of the ways that you could get a ton more done today versus in YouTube 3 years ago. So again, leverage what you have out there, outsource as much as you can, which I guess I kind of went into the next point without knowing. Leveraging AI with the scripts, the titles, descriptions, everything in between. You could become a real good master at getting those AI thumbnails. They're starting to make more and more of an impact on YouTube at the moment. There's just so many different things that you can do with AI. Spending a little bit of time to explore is going to help you out a ton. Now, I am going to do a selfish plug here. On Tuesdays, we have the Agent First Summit, which Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Central. I'm doing an entire AI series. So every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Central for the month of July, we're doing an AI series. This past week, we talked about saving time. Next week, we're going to talk about content creation. So using AI is going to help you out a ton. And the last three, those I can kind of bulk in together because I do think that they're not as actionable, but they are more mindset focused. So avoid seeking that perfection. Done is better than perfect. I know that we have a lot of videos that are saved in our phone, but never get the never see the light of day because we want to make it better, because we want to X, Y, and Z, right? So we just allow perfection be the enemy of done. So avoiding that is going to help you out a ton. Celebrate the small wins. This is one that I fall guilty on myself, right? There's some things that you are doing extremely well by simply getting that video out. You've won. Celebrate that. There's a lot of friction that goes between you and that publish button, and the fact that you got over that hump and actually press publish, despite of how you look, despite of how you sound, despite of what you said, despite of all the other challenges that you have before you hit publish, know that when you put that video out into the world, you could very well be pushing on a video, pressing publish on a video that's going to hit 1 million views. I'm looking at you, Tammy. So one video can absolutely just change the game for you. So celebrate the wins and playing the long game. At the end of the day, YouTube is one of the hardest things that you could deploy, but it's one of the most, it's still my favorite thing to work on to this day after well over 1,000 videos. This is still the game that I want to be playing in personally. For me, there's the cold calling bone that doesn't exist in my body. So cold calling would be the other option for me to actually put food on my table. I don't have to do that. YouTube allows me to do that 24/7. The same time that I've invested in speaking with you today, I know that there's over 1,000 videos out there that are bringing in business. So just this very morning, a YouTube channel that you see here, this very YouTube channel, and this was actually more of a side project that is this month, not this month, today. I think we had, let me look. I'm gonna look at to give you some real stats. This morning, let me count them. Nefertari's not in here, is she? She would know. 3 minutes ago, Lasher opted in. Salim 6 hours ago. Chad 16 hours ago. Courtney 16 hours ago. Michael 15 hours ago. And then some person named Chimmy, that might not be real. Let's be real. 17 hours ago. Sylvester 21 hours ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 leads this morning, or I guess the last 24 hours, on a very, very, what you would see from the outside looking in on a very small channel, if you will. I'll show you the back end. I've shown this before, so there's nothing that I'm not too worried about it. So this YouTube channel is small but mighty, 4,500 subscribers. I don't get a ton of views on it, 17K. This is one of the channels that we use for production. We have other channels in place, but this is the one, what I just quoted you is straight from this particular YouTube channel that you've seen here before. So I don't want to beat a dead horse here. And so don't just look at subscriber counts. That's not the goal. It's getting the video in front of the right audience. That's where you're ultimately going to see some success. How do you get into those Agent for Summit? Thank you, Robert, for sharing that. Cool. Alrighty, questions, comments, concerns as we wrap it up. Today was staying consistent, and hopefully this was helpful in some way. And next week, I don't remember what next week's topic is, but I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. Anything before we head out? Cool. Well, I appreciate you coming through every Thursday at 12 p.m. Central. We are masterminding, helping our YouTube channel grow. If there's anything I could do for you between now and then, let me know. But outside of that, see you next Thursday. Bye.
Thank you.